Right, mama aba Odi Asempa TV. I am Osomfo Odi Asempa de. Twedi ampon abie kwan ne yemienu ye hwe ye ho de. Megidi se oho Abusua ene enkomo na ye bedi in fact enkomo a eho hia yie pa. Mepese obi biara a ne sabeka video we no. Obefa ne serious na ono so awoso ama ne nua bi ensanso aka bi. Cause ade a ehia na ehia ama oman Ghana se impinfo kan se bi se asem kese eba besi a na franka ensi so ebia onyante ne meka no eho asem Agyapadeɛ book a ekoso ewo social media your friend is Hobson Adoye me da bia me ka se oman Ghana no ohun oman Ghana timamufo na nkasa na yo madwen se yen dwen enko akire yen use critical thinking abrani abre bia ye twan Nyankopon anim na Nyankopon aba abaye bibi e de amaye na sene esi eboboko no epetumi e de asem kese e de abreye e wo oman mu eno eho enkomo ena yebedi na eye yenua baako in fact metena ase ehwe ni video no ene emunsam a oka no na oyobi so anani afi free fa kotoka Lawrence mo time nyina no ohun ne ekoso and oka ensam ahodo bia very important emma timamuni bia se obehwe video no na wadwen ho mienu na se otu anamon bi anase oka bibi afa ho a wo se ne obesi aka afa ho na ye nyina so ya domu asuko ne anyemu research yie na ye educate ya ho ewo mu na ye tu ho anamon pa ema results papa enye den emfiri mu emara Abusia ansa na ebeko video no so no mesro ene dey can washi Odi Asempa TV and subscribe to channel no share na like it. Invite afoforo no meka abusia ko no se na be ya abrani abrevia the video foforo edit ma on sabeka bi no ahwe no kasa so e bia na oye be ma o mema sab enko yie o de boss wa ni waje mu oba wo ho dadwe ne e how be ma low spec count so I20 ema ontumi ne oba nhia nsuo no aye yuro bi ya ne obe ya nso obefa number na egu ase on 054 3304976. Me and the Odi Asempa, the CEO of Odi Asempa Spiritual and Herbal Center. Oba de edin haban eni sunsun mu nimde edi adom me. To ha no, Odi abe so obefa me number no afrɛ me. Yenko enkotie opa no ensem a okan. No wia. Asem no kwa de enye se bi ebebubu me mpese me interactive. Me pese ebetie nyiye. The final one no say reaction bi wo ho no ma me de beto aso e de amount.
So much nonsense going on in Ghana, and I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, trust me, this nonsense must stop. We're going to take a short commercial break, and the series of this nonsense must stop that we're going to be doing. I think the first one I'll touch on with is Agyapadeɛ. That nonsense too must stop. But let's take a break. When we come back, Agyapadeɛ, this nonsense must stop. We'll be right back.
Ano kwamo mienka na awodi nipa pina ekwa tetimu pao amani pampempema wali agu Odi Asempa Spiritual and Herbal Center awo wo ya ade se wo mbe mu wanya basisi a yade bi tise stroke gonorrhea anabama waye mre e wampamu low sperm count wo mu anu aduro tatahwe ene je sem se seba ne sunsumu nsem a wo motene te se ye sunsumu aware anasa yare bi ne de amawo pampabone anabo ana wanya abai amane e court case wo betu charge osisi a enam omadwuma panti ni pampempem ene be fo bokofie ekoye sunsumu nyuma ede momo se mosini ene enzimani akabom dia sunsumu niema asie betu obi aje wukunu anasa woyere awaresem adwuma sam akwantuom nsam ni nyina ayasuma sam fabadan Odi Asempa Spiritual and Herbal Center obehu yan
New Koforidua ejoso ne konongo infinfin aye Ashanti region ehon ma number aye didi dwuma no aye 054 3304976 anaasɛ 0201340421 054-330-4976 anaasɛ 020-134-0421.
Odia Sampa Spiritual and Herbal Center. Yebediwa Samamau
shall rise again. What time is it, folks? It's nation time. Today we're going to focus on this nation because there are silly things happening in this nation, and this series of episodes coming is this nonsense must stop. A series of nonsenses. Pardon my English word. Yeah, we can't talk about a series of nonsenses, but the first one we're starting with is this so-called Agyapadeɛ. What the hell is it? Let me tell you something. This concept of Agyapadeɛ, I'm going to give you a few reasons why I think it is brainless and what boggles my mind about this whole Agyapadeɛ thing. Okay? Number one, what is Agyapadeɛ? Apparently, what it is all about state capture. You've heard so much about it, so I'm not going to rehash all the plenty things you've heard. You've heard plenty things. But the summary of it is that Agyapadeɛ is about state capture of certain institutions that will be controlled by the state na capture. No? One of the areas of state capture that we know of, number one, the judiciary, the courts of this land. The other thing that we know of in terms of state capture, the media. The media that's going to report on this land and all the things we need to know is also going to fall under state capture. So we have the judiciary, we have the media, and scary enough, folks, the military and security services. The concept of state capture is to make sure that you have a stranglehold on the armed forces, on the security services, immigration, police. You have a stranglehold on them. So when you combine all these major elements or institutions of state that fall under the capture of a government or a party, and even the state capture, no. The state capture you've heard talk about, the long and short of it is that to make sure that you control these agencies. Agyapadeɛ, state capture. This, and I said before, is a brainless idea. It is preposterous. It is ludicrous. It is, I don't know what word to use, maybe idiotic. Let me tell you why. Okay, number one, if we talked about a state capture, in Ghana right now, we'll be out here about the Agyapadeɛ, but nobody knows. It's all like, hey, I tell Agyapadeɛ. But who knows Agyapadeɛ? Who knows about what it is? Number one, the government says it doesn't know anything about the Agyapadeɛ. As a matter of fact, the president has actually spoken. And he says, in fact, some NTC elements who have consistently, from time immemorial, trying to badmouth him and his government, are continuing that long tradition of badmouthing. So the president says this whole Agyapadeɛ talk, this thing is being designed by some NTC people.
In the run-up to the 2008, 2012, and 2016 presidential elections, and Madam Sani, I'm not here to settle scores. I was the target of numerous false and malicious stories aimed at attacking my credibility and integrity. In 2008, baseless allegations of drug trafficking were spread, along with numerous rumors about my health, intended to cast doubt on my ability to serve as president. President Kufuor was also accused in 2008 of having sold all of Ghana's gold reserves. Again, the 2012 election saw false reports of my alleged arrest in London for drug possession and fabricated quotes designed to stir ethnic tensions. In 2016, it was alleged by sympathizers of the opposition that I had killed my late wife. Today, with a few months to the December 2024 elections, they are at it again. A fabricated document entitled Agyapadeɛ is being peddled around by operatives of the opposition as evidence of a grand scheme by my party to annex the assets of the state.
That is from the president. They have nothing to do with it. He has nothing to do with it. It's actually some few people in the NDC who are orchestrating all of this. Very surprising. But let's move on. I want you to understand what I mean by this whole thing is an amorphous, brainless thing that is happening. One thing, even my own chief, Mimi Ochini, Ochin Kwame Numbrim, Amotia for repenting, Amotia is my chief. He is on the cover of this Agyapadeɛ thing. I'm saying thing right now because as we speak now, nobody knows what it is. You can't even identify where it came from. It is this phantom thing that is blowing all over. Our chief is on the cover of Agyapadeɛ, and he says he has no idea about it. He says he heard about this thing long ago. It is a fabrication. It is false.
Yeah. I'm not Dubai. Yeah. What did I tell you now? Yeah. I see my agenda. Yeah. I see my agenda. Yeah. Say yeah. I was in my master. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to be. Yeah. I got the body. Yeah.
Timothy, from two very, very powerful sources, the president said there's some NDC couples that are misbehaving, doing those silly things. Ochini says he has no idea about it, but in fact, this document started floating even some time ago, some years back, and things. This is my worry. With all respects, Nana, you have seen your honorable face on the cover of this so-called Agyapadeɛ thing that you say is fake. You say it's fabricated, so that there's no substance to it. What baffles me, and pardon me if I'm exaggerating, but what baffles me is that I have not heard anything from you or from your office or from the palace. Charlie, the Amotia has discovered that his face has been put on this document called Agyapadeɛ. He has no clue where it came from. It is fake. It's a fabrication. Anka, I expected that though. I wanted to hear that kind of denouncement that your honorable face has been put on this document that you know nothing about. Now I haven't heard that vehement disassociation from it, that this thing is wrong, and we are going to get to the bottom of those culprits who are behind this thing, because this has nothing to do with me. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. Okay, so there's that. And even with the president's denial, I didn't hear that he's going to put the FBI or BNI, whatever, to make sure that they get to the bottom of this, because this is bad. This is very, very bad. That's why I'm saying this whole Agyapadeɛ has become an amorphous thing that you can't understand at all. Okay? The third thing that baffles me is this. Let me give the president the benefit of the doubt and say, yes, this is politics, because politics there, you can't rule out anything. No, you can't. Anything is possible in politics, especially under now that we have AI, artificial intelligence. You'll be amazed at what people can sit down and craft with artificial intelligence, put your voice on, put your face on, and do things that will completely destroy you, that you have no clue about that. So I understand. So I'm willing to give the president, Nana Amotia, the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there are some corporates who are doing this, trying to badmouth you. Okay, fine. Let's accept that. But when you think about it, folks, something doesn't quite make sense as well. Let me give them the benefit of the doubt and let's say, yes, in fact, this thing is being done by some NDC people. But watch the implementation. Every step of the implementation is something that is an additional benefit to the NPP. So, Pacho, help me think about this. So, you have a bunch of frustrated clowns from the NDC trying to frustrate the NPP. So they set in motion a series of events which happen to be doing things that are favorable to the NPP. Just it. Or perhaps, you know, Ghana, we have been doing everything trying to get into the Guinness Book of World Records or whatever they call it. Maybe we want to get into the Guinness Book of Records as the only country with the most amazing bipartisan collaboration. And it's an amazing bipartisan collaboration that the NDC will decide to go and do something to damage the NPP. So they take on this act and do things, but they're not damaging the NPP. They are doing things that will actually enhance the agenda of the NPP. Maybe a bipartisan collaboration, I'm not sure. The bottom line is this. There are certain things going on, and I'm looking you in the face today, folks. I'm begging you, this nonsense must stop. First of all, let me take just a quick minute to tell you why I am saying this nonsense must stop. Okay, two things. state capture means two things. It can mean that the government in power has captured all these state institutions. The government has the military, they have the judiciary, they have the legislature, they have the media, they have captured all these institutions. If there's any government in power which is able to capture these institutions, you know what happens? On the surface, it looks like it's a democratic government. But underneath it, a government that has captured all state institutions is nothing else but a dictatorship, an autocracy of the highest order. So either way you look at it, if you say that it's a state capture being done by the government in power, what it means is that eventually they are setting up a dictatorship, an autocracy. Abaya, the judiciary is under them, the security is under them, the media is under them. Folks, this is nothing less than autocracy of the highest order. Okay, let's say it's not the government. Say Abaya, say Bionyonoa. So let us assume that maybe perhaps it's the opposition. So imagine a state where those in the opposition are the ones that have access to all these state institutions. They're not in government too, but they have access to the control of all these institutions. Do you know what happens? It's called anarchy. Because in a state like that, the nation becomes ungovernable. So two things I'm making. Let me wrap on these two things I'm talking about. Number one, if there's any government in power that has captured all the state institutions, trust me, that government is a dictatorship. It's an autocracy. It is deadly. On the other hand, if it's not the government in power, but somehow the opposition is the one that has been able to capture all these institutions and is controlling them, then trust me, the government is in trouble because the nation is ungovernable. So folks, so much can I say? Either way you look at it, if, as people are saying now, it is the MPP making an attempt at capturing the state, that's what they're saying. On radio, on TV, everywhere. That's what they're saying. I won't mention any names. You know them. That's what is out there. If it is true that in fact is the MPP behind the state capture, if they should win and if it's saying break the 8 and become the next government, which is coming with all state institutions captured by them, trust me, we're looking at autocracy and dictatorship of the highest order. On the other hand, as you say, if the MPP is not able to come back to power and they are in opposition, however, even in opposition, they've been able to capture all these state institutions in the sense that they are thumb. Then whoever's in power is looking at a situation that we call ungovernable. So that is why I'm saying this nonsense must stop. There's no winning anywhere. Either way you look at it, say, and all this, oh my goodness. A young guy I was talking to, a young guy cry, make us say, practically a grandchild. What are you calling it? I say a Japan concert party. That's all he's heard about the Japan. He was calling it the Japan concert party, and I thought it was so instructive because that's what it is. It's a concert party. Either way, no one wins. So please, Ghana for the Pamucho. This thing that we are like, it's very, very, if let's start witnessing, something that is, not say really state capture. We talk about state capture as if you are talking about Gobe. Not say really say, no! Let me tell you why I'm saying this. Because folks, believe it or not, I'm a prophet. I'm not a man of God. I'm not nothing. But I'm looking at your face today, and I'm telling you today. If we all sit down as a nation and allow any kind of state capture to fruition, we are dead. Let me tell you, we have an election coming up. I think it's in December. So January 7th, the new government is taking over. If at that time, and I hope to God not, because it will never happen, that Ghanaians will sit down and allow anybody to capture the state, even if they have started in Kudu, trust me. Because if that happens, folks, If in fact January 7th after the election and whoever is in power and the country is under state capture, trust me and mark this on the wall anywhere you want it. Quote this date that KSM said that if by January 7th a new government has come in and we are under state capture, either the government or the opposition, but the bottom line is that we have come in and we are under state capture. Trust me, within 6 months, could be shorter, but it won't be more than 6 months of the new government coming to power, we are going to experience an explosion of violence, eruption in this country that we have never witnessed before. Jimmy. Whatever you want to say it. But after you finish saying it, mark this date that you're watching this program on the wall. And trust me that if by January 7th we have gone through with the elections and everything, and the state is under state capture, either by the government in power or not in power, in a position, but still has a state, I am telling you, we are going to experience an eruption, the likes of which we have never experienced before in this country. I kid you not. And don't joke with it. I have just about a few minutes to finish what I'm saying here. You can video. Look, some of you are young guys, you know, the people that I work with, my cameraman crew, or probably not even born, but those of us who have witnessed that kind of eruption know, and we beg you, that whatever we can do to avoid that catastrophe, let us avoid it. Because marking on the wall, if this state capture, I see DDR state capture, if it continues and if it succeeds, by January 7th, the new government in power, trust me, within 6 months, the eruptions that we'll see in this country, we have not seen anything, the likes of it in this country. But that's not a joke. Those of you who are young and or maybe not born, let me give you just a little bit about this, just a few minutes to share with you. When there's input anger, which there is in Ghana right now, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration, there is a lot of despair. This is not a political statement, though. This is just a statement of fact that there is anger, there's frustration, there's despair, and people are hoping for a brighter day. But I'm saying the only thing that can get in the way of a brighter day is the notion that this country is now under a certain state capture, and at that time, what we'll experience nothing like the likes of what we have seen before. The closest we've seen was the JJ Revolution in 79, those of us who are alive. Let me tell you just a little bit of some of the things that happened. One day it was on the news. One guy, it probably doesn't even exist anymore, but once upon a time there used to be what they call the Teshi military range. If you're going to Teshi and you're traveling by the beachside, when you're getting towards the, I think it's the Kofi Annan training piece, something center, to the right, there's the beach. All of that side was a shooting range near Freho firing squad. So imagine, we're going to sleep in the evening, we hear in the news that tomorrow morning we are lining up soldiers at the Teshi military range to kill them. Those of you who want to come and see it, come. As if it's an upcoming movie. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I want you to see how scary it is. It's an upcoming movie. We're going to line up military officers and shoot them. This happened in 1979. Some of you were not born. Some of you were born but were kids. Some of us were born but were adults enough to be foolish enough to go and watch this upcoming attraction. Folks, and I'm telling you, 8 military officers, blindfolded, tied to the stakes, with a whole platoon of people standing there watching. And what we heard was fire, 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 and they were shot. And people were standing there, and most of the people who are in power now were alive then, so they know. They know. Not those in power, those who are not in power, who are my age group. We know. Fire, fire, fire. And folks, we shot 8 military officers. Close quarters, firing squad. Let me tell you one sad thing. You know, when I talk about this eruption and why that always leads to chaos, because you can't plan that eruption. Some of the military officers that were killed had not committed any crime. You'll be shocked though. Some of them were lined up and killed. Do you know why? They needed to maintain ethnic balance. They're shooting one from person where you're sending. You're shooting back to your cranny. I'm telling you. And for those of you, may he rest in peace. Utuka. You know Utuka? He lost his life at the military shooting range, not because of any crime he committed. He was there. And they needed to balance it. Ethnic balance. So folks, as I was saying, it was an advertised movie. People went there to watch people being killed. And the funny thing is that they had placards, and the placards said, "Let the blood flow." That's the anger in people. Let the blood flow. They had placards. Now the dangerous thing, you know, this thing was done, I'm talking about the June 4th, you know, was a bunch of military men, they were called the other ranks, the junior forces that rose up. But the anger that is seeping in Ghana now is not like the junior ranks or anything. It's the average man on the street, frustrated and looking for a way out. And I'm telling you folks, this is not good. This is the kind of eruption that desperation, anger, frustration causes. So when I'm sitting here saying this to all of us Ghanaians, that whatever we do, you and I should make sure that we do not sit down and get anything in motion called state capture. I'm telling you this because I know that when there is in fact a state capture, within 6 months of the new administration, the eruption, it will make June 4th look like a June 4th credit and a watch party. It will make June 4th look like a watch party. I kid you not. So I say today, Reverend Lawrence said, let me borrow your words, this nonsense of state capture must stop. Shall I say it one more time? This nonsense must stop. So let me say it again, and folks, pardon me, let me take my glasses off for this one. Let me say it again. Eyeball to eyeball, folks. This nonsense must stop. You know, it's like you have a choice. Okay, you're going into an election and there is a choice. There's a path that you can take to prosperity and rebuilding our country and lifting this country up. And there's a path that we can take, and we know that this is going to lead to anarchy and chaos. And then we sit down quietly and say, so, and let us ride the anarchy and chaos. That's how it feels like to me. Let us not joke with this, please. Sometimes, actually, what kind of people are Ghanaians? Can you imagine any other African country or any other third world country where there's that the government wants to take over they capture the state so that they can use the state apparatus to rule? People are saying this, and everybody's going about nicely, getting money, everything is cool. Can you imagine? Only in Ghana. But I'm telling you, even in Ghana, don't take it lightly. I remember one time I did the show, we don't seem to be worried, or it's not visibly coming out as worried. Somebody called me and he said something I will never ever forget. Let me share with you what the person told me. I said, KSM, all these things that we're hearing about, and state capture, all these scary things that it seems that Ghanaians have taken it cool, and you people think say Ubiaye cool. No. He says, do you know what the silence means? He said, no, tell me. Or say Ghanaians are telling us to listen to what we are not saying. I mean, America focus. God damn it, that's deep. Ghanaians are telling us, you say we are quiet. No, listen to what we are not saying. Deep. Think about it, folks. Don't take the state capture of the media as a joke, man. When the media is in the grips of a dictator, whenever the media is in the grips of a dictator, and to top that up, so is the judiciary. When the media and the judiciary collapse because they have been captured by the state and they are under the grips of a dictator, what happens? It's called anarchy. I kid you not, because our last resort as a people is the law. Our last report as the people is to have a media that is out there defending us. We've been media saying yet for the people. The media is out there for us. If the media is not there, the judiciary is there to back us. When the media and the judiciary are collapsed under state capture, what happens is people just actually let us take the law into our own hands. What follows is chaos and anarchy. This is not good, folks. This nonsense must stop. I'm going to wrap up now because this has started. This is called This Nonsense Must Stop.
Abusha, say ehina yako akotie asama no. But minim sane wo usi ehu no esifa. But me asembisa mo say enti oman Ghana ankasa na yetimo no ye safe anai. Na sankra na yesi eye yantoto ye. You see, sometimes enyema bi ekoso wo man ni mu a wo. Wotena se din na odwen enyema bi ho. Na odwen ko akira ubisa ho se enti ye wo enkofo a sebi o omodwen pa na edi oman ne so anan. Because eba ne sen na obi etumi etena ase address bibi whether say eye nokre anase enye nokre, and you need a neutral department ewo oman ni mu a ebetumi dig deep with investigation say we a free source ha na agenda anase etrimponti omode ye no eno ni we eno an say media ni guso eno mo discussing na we and here come to say na papa na kanu, we ask the president this deep question say ye bisa president no this deep question say inti ye you say the omayanim ma omayan to toye omayan hihye ni omayan ni bibia entoto na namu inti just this matter no untumi enhodi whoever is in charge no accountability. The only thing I will be to me akachra ye say just political talker ye di ebra me faili wo say de ya o de omampanyi kofo de ni ade ye example then adenti na sa sebi o enkwasi asem we ya ekoso no muntumi stop those stupidity because say eye nokra inti me question say ye ni state institution neutral for the country say there be I stand for the country so we na ekoso no say enetie, and if say blackmail no say blackfaming so the president the investigation department ye wo ewo oman mu hanom no den na omo yafa ho nti yesika no ye ditua omo ka day in day out no emfaso bre pa na ewo so because unim ya woni amawodo bi wo ho no ekoso oman mu ha ye te hanom ne ye ka na obi ti baabi na oka ensamfo se ye ka se NPP NDC na nkasa ewo se you two almost free oman ni mu a ubo no akofa US e dia be example say Democrat na ye can say Republican, forgetting say these people no even to me start investigation then be investigation now within 10 years then coming out with a result say idea we a course so from the last 10 years no a free hanum and a buy but my Ghana in predator say na bi say asi madaro ma men kai busuafo yawo yana abonefo ema no hwie nchi no guye up till now ye huhu asema anan inti yakoye say bibia no ye de beye politics ye take any serious thing about it Enti eno so kan obi na ma aban bibisa na nati mamufo na nkasa no put the law into their hands because ye ni institution bi a omo ye critical investigation and as a truthful information a ye be me hu say ade we ni ade we e na e course so a e ma we e happen here. Enti we need to hold these people accountability. Sane ma we ye hu bi e wo oman Ghana mu before say bibisa be pie bia no ye de politics. Hey, NDC for na yesa. Hey, NPP for na yesa. Your thinking capacity as a people in a country na nkasa no e wo hefa. Aya sometimes won. Otena ase. Enti na kwambedi akokan ye no. These people are calling themselves say they are PhD holders, degree holders. Ne hwan degree akasi no mu boni di doctor, engineer, hwan enso epa ne say yen use that critical thinking na we don't have it in the country. Nti emati memufo na nkasa na sebi o bibi kakra ni wo musamu no eye mobo. Nti then bibi say ebeto na insesa nkode na ani beto say emra ewo ho no ma emra ne bedi ama no ohwe no awo ntumi aden awo se ode mra ehye no nsa because that be amekra me kasa say we say oman Ghana na ye wo mu no otina ho na kwase abeku a wo ku ato atwene kwa because imagine say nkofo gu TV so ni aka fasika bra baji sika lotto number shares bank we ni hina so no ya wo nkofo ya say minister of communication, minister of one minister of we minister of one near the state sika the more party hu omo adwuma bia omo ye hu adwuma bia omo ye and can imagine say a private institution atumi at the state institution kra akọ court atwa bail man watumi awie because say oh my Ghana inti emre ben pa na Ghana ebenya ne afri na award demu. When are we going to wake up Ghana? Enunti na ye ina ye call for a better leader. Yeah, call for change in governance because these two political parties are playing a mind game on the people. Oh, Drew baby cry now my bro for some year crazy for me because a coffee we wrong. Omo de timamfo na adwene di agro. Entimamfo no entumi hu ye mabunu na kasara ye be sorry for your right no. Omo na omo man kofo we ma manipulate omo to the extent they say omo to me use omo thinking capacity no. Ene I was many obi edi nkomo and make actually say imagine say as a leader obedi oman anim ka bibi mienti a wo se yenye business nkete and mepe say branch executives ina ede omo ho bajim koka mienti a ye ma wo akokobuo. Do you know akokobuo? Enye se ebi a ye bebode eyi na ede ama wo ye be ma wo akokobuo. Na Ghana hanom no o rank percentage a bisa won say nkofo dodo sen eneni akokobuo wo mu fie edumi fidu omo sen ala se ye mamo akokobuo ni amamo enkokọ no then ya mamo aduane a mode beto aduane ama nkokọ no then o se o ni amamu sika mode beto aduane ama nkokọ no nti nkokọ na eto a na mo aton na moton ana se nkokọ ni ja eto a mo aton nkokọ no ase bye. Ghana, oh, there be. It be say what they was site plan and bar near Baby see dino like promises are and from Puntobia and from Bromano inti on my money in ano obia than a site plan bar Mboko could see Diana Mananai Obinsu Kokan phone Shesa Bokina ye be factories. Ye be factory so that's been where awurade okasa wo kan sam we ya won hwe Burkina president will be factories and investors ba enyo omo na omo de omo demand ba o and onko hye nkokoam eno omo negotiate o oma bibia ye open and mo panso na o kire mo se da bi me nkola me pese mu tre ni bi wonje ntumu akọ wo na ohia me na me wo ma de e na wo ohia intimate terms a me pe na me na obekọ yete hanom ye nhwe anu bi emfa nsua nyansa enyi ye leaders no so hu se timamufo no yale nti no omo de timamufo no adwen edi agro e na omo take omo decision omo pe this Agyapadeɛ na papa na ka ho asɛm no minim se ne usifa ne nsɛm no but so wo fa ne serious na what na say adegi deeper me nka ho asɛm because me ankasa no me de madisua de me nka ndada o mesua na manya ntiase o bibi mo eche yina ye ho research wo so bo ho mode se obeye ho research ya wonema bi wo ho no ma oman ni mu no omo nka ho asɛm inti as a citizen wo do man no wo so try say obe dig inside then you try to educate people about it near who the solution to bring out and yes on my Ghana ye be akoyechi ama maya hodo a anka ye expect so betumi overtake here no because this year I'm telling you some Burkina automatically overtake here ye military opa ma Burkina force park here so I'm telling you just 1 week prepare condemn Ghana because of ammunitions, modern drones, modern arms and mobile clinic ya spread it across the country Ghana ha you see sometimes aya na ye ka this westness na sama aya na nkofo bi ntiase me hu video bi a America lady no I don't know if say is editing and I say yeah but I'm going to put the video there for you to see now so watch wadwen e wo comment section no ase honom a wo ka say CCR no Ghana e wo ye kan say medical delivery drone a supply medicals but me no mienu ina nim say ade we nya no kre but here is the case US for and air can wasem because omo can be and these two political parties say Democrats and Republicans no ina aye connected to yen Ghana ha no ma ba ko ye for NDC ba ko ye for MPP because you can some you can say yen slave masters it is a way back na say we are the connection omunya extract a resource no more no higher. It's time to wake up. Youth of Ghana, wake up. Mama mani na ho. Me say, I sometimes me try some many ye maburi bi di nkomo won. Ono mo di nkomo na like otwe once so this person no I train be na den it because accept na wo kan no na dia na wo kan pra de fall away bola man because I had to say na kwa mbedi ako kan nsama Ghana for bebre no enti ase no sao so we obi a o pesa we educate youth bi no mote nyama bi se na no mo kasa won na o the question bi man say bam urade na ayasam abusia me kasa no bewa me do be si hanom hwe me next video makrao